Hey y'all, welcome back to Mirror Expressions, a channel where I take the time to share a little bit of myself with you all, and I invite y'all to come on in and do the same with me. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me and hit the subscribe button as well if you have not already done so. Plus, drop me a mirror emoji in the chat if you are A1. I want to know that my YouTube fam is doing good. And if you looked in the mirror today and you don't feel good right now about yourself, do what you must to get back to a healthier you. I always encourage y'all to do that. Mental health is definitely a must. All right, y'all. We get into this mass reunion, baby. I'm gonna say this: the reunion, not the reunion. Look, I'm too hyped for this reunion. Do you hear me? So, this is decision day. Ain't a lot to be said, but we gonna go through it. But yeah, I'm waiting on the reunion, y'all, cause them previews. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. But anyway, y'all. So this season 15, episode 17, this was supposed to be our new start. And if you have not watched yet, you will know who this caption was in reference to by the end of this review. Before I get started, y'all, I lost a dear friend of mine. This is one of the gifts he gave to me. And I just want to say rest in peace, Sante and Ruli. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going. So, it's vow renewal day, or whatever Lindy McGill wants to call it. It's decision day, right? So, the couples, we see them kind of starting their day, getting ready. The only one that was just like in full glam is Lex. She was like, y'all ain't gonna catch me sleeping. Everybody slipping, everybody else kind of was just chilling in the bed, looking like they just hadn't got up and got their day started yet. Now Lex, she was in the bed, but baby, full makeup. I just be like, oh, y'all know how she can overdo it sometimes. But yeah, I just thought that was so funny that she was the only one like this. So also, let me just say this too. I love that they took decision day outside. Like, I just love the environment they were in. Like, it was just such a gorgeous scenery. And it ended up being like a pretty day. Like, so I just love that they took that outside. And then there were only two experts, Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper. Or Dr. Peppers. So yeah, it was Pastor Cal, Dr. P. I said, I guess they feel like the other two experts, they ain't put their time in yet, so they don't deserve to come out there and sit on their couch with them. I was like, they ain't been on the train too long, baby. They ain't been on the train too long. Anyway, y'all, let's go get cracking like so. Pastor Cal, Dr. P, they're talking about Stasha and Nate. They're up first, and they were just kind of like, things felt so easy with them, except for the last couple of weeks. They just kind of see the tension. It's been kind of giving them pause for the call. So they said they end up matching those two because of their tremendous drive and ambition. And that if they can figure out how to meet each other's emotional needs, then they feel like they can make it work, right? So, Stasha, she said she loves being married to Nate, but it's been difficult at times, and that he lacks maturity, which kind of shows up with him being like judgmental and hot-headed. And so she just said she doesn't want to be in a loveless marriage. So Nate said Stasha is everything he wanted in a wife. She's his twin flame. I said, yeah, y'all twins, all right. Seriously, no. I never had heard of twin flames until about, I'd say maybe a year or so ago, when my 17-year-old came and was talking about her twin flame. What the hell is a twin flame? What do you mean? You are... It's a young for a twin flame. But anyway, yeah, if y'all don't know, it's kind of like just meant to be, kiss me or whatever. Something along those lines. But anyway, So he says that, he likes the looks that they get when they go out together. And I said, yeah, I figured as much. I think I even said that in one of my past reviews. Like, I just felt like they were that couple that wanted to make sure when they go out, they kind of command the room. They want all the attention. He said he does like question her control, and that he's falling in love with her, but he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life trying to prove it. He fears that he would never be good enough, right? And so, Dr. P asks, Stasha, well, what are the things that are keeping you on the fence, right? So Stasha, baby, that thing pulls at a whole entire list. So she just running it down. Da 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 da. I was like, hey, Dad, you know what I'm saying? Where the good stuff at, But the main thing she kind of just harped on was him having mommy issues and how it's just coming out more and more. And so he just said that one thing I did like that he did do, like, because she started getting emotional and she was just kind of talking about how things have been lately, especially as more his mommy issues are coming out. He just kind of comforts her in that moment, and I liked it. And he didn't try to just bounce back at her like, well, you know what I'm saying? Or, he sat there, he listened, and he comforted her. You know what I'm saying? But he does apologize. And he just pretty much said, that he's just feeling more triggered lately because he's been feeling so overwhelmed, and he just doesn't know how to properly deal with all the stress that he's been feeling, basically. So then he did turn around there and said, so, but you can use some work too. And I'm just like, okay. But anyway, he basically said, she could come across cold and insincere at times. And so Pastor Cal said, asked them, well, what are some of your positives? I was like, yes, please, because I'm just constantly hearing all negatives from the both of them right now. So Sasha basically was like, he has a great heart and he's a good person. And I don't even remember what else they said. But anyway, he ends up going first, and he says he definitely wants to stay married and that he's hopeful. And then Stasha, he's hopeful, he wants to fight for the marriage. Then Stasha, they give her like this long dramatic pause, and then like she starts saying something, and she had it sounded like she was gonna say no, right? But she ended up ultimately saying yes. So that's one couple I was right about. What about y'all? Did y'all guess that they would stay together like I did? I figured they would. Justin and Alexis are next, right? And so they're next. And Pastor Cal said, he's pretty much concerned about Justin being overly emotional. And Dr. Pepper said that, she thinks he'll say yes, but she's not sure about Alexis. I said, well, damn. Everybody knew Alexis wasn't in that thing. Everybody knew. So Pastor Cal said his sensitivity is a good balance to her strength. Pastor Cal, give it a rest. Give it a rest. So anyway, Alexis came in and said, his inconsistency is what has her pretty much questioning things. And in search, I was just looking at Justin during this time, and I was just like, maybe if he had some locks and a little bit of facial hair, Okay, I'm done. Anyway, where was I in? So, I don't know. I think he ended up, oh, no, wait a minute. Justin said, he feels like they got off track with the whole issue with the dogs, right? And he said, she's just not ready to give up the single life. And she let him give his dog away, knowing she was unsure, she wasn't ready to really say yes. And I was just like, okay. So, he said, but I think he was just like pretty much whether she says yes or no. The good thing is he had a whole epiphany about himself, that he's too much in his head, and that's the one thing he's gonna walk away from, just being in a better place with them, blah blah blah. So Pastor Cal gonna ask them about their intimacy. Like, why would you bring that up, Pastor Cat, in this critical moment? Because they were not on the same page. Anybody done watched the last couple of episodes, and I know y'all got a lot more footage than we out in viewer land did. Like, why? Why? But he does. And Justin is like, oh, it's been fun since we've consummated our marriage. And Alexis, on the other hand, is just like, yeah, no, he got some work to do. I'm just like, oh, baby. So, Dr. Peace asked, was my turning point? Alexis said, it was, she gets it, but she just don't like how Justin kept throwing it up in her face. Like, I did this, so, blah, blah, blah. You should be doing this, or you shouldn't be doing it, or, this should be an automatic yes. So he did say, he did that because he thought it meant a yes for their marriage. And, I think he probably apologizes for harping on it so much like that, or throwing it up in her face. So he ends up going first, right? It says, so he says he knows he's made mistakes, but he feels like she compliments him, and so it's a yes for him. And I just said, oh, y'all, the look she gave when he said that, and I believe he caught it too, because he was like, so I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be a no for her too. But honey, she turned around and she said, I struggle to see the positive, but I prayed about it. And so it's a yes right now. I can't say a yes to forever, but I would say yes to more time. I said, oh, I definitely was not expecting that, especially after he said yes and she gave that look like, why you say yes, because it ain't a yes for me. That's exactly how she was looking. But she said yes. And so that's one I didn't get right. What about y'all? Did y'all think they were going to say yes? Because I didn't. And then they going to bring that doggone wine that they got at the winery when they were on the couples retreat. The one that they got their names on. Instead of drinking the wine that they brought for the couples that said yes. Excuse me, something tickling my throat. They brought that doggone wine from there. I was like, the one that they said they were going to wait to drink on their 1-year anniversary. Yeah, that one. Because they knew they weren't going to make it. I said, Anyway, Linda Miguel up next. So, Dr. P said Miguel can show up in too many different ways. Like, he can show up as the doting husband, or he can show up as a very judgmental individual. And Pastor Cal said that their willingness to communicate is what makes them a great match. And I said, oh, okay. Their communication? Oh, okay. So Lindy said, she loves his romantic side. She said she felt tested by him being skeptical, and that she feels not good enough for him sometimes just by his actions. So Miguel, he said, in the beginning, he was only in it for the 8 weeks, but that Lindy has made him feel like it could be a lifetime thing. He doesn't like her outbursts, though, and it's exhausting to handle them all the time. So they both show up in their matching green. I would say probably neither one of them. It was very appealing. I just didn't like it. Not to say I just didn't like it. I just leave it at that. But anyway, Dr. P brings up how things have been since the retreat, as far as them just back and forth with all this bickering and not being on the same page. And Linda had just said that during those hard times that they were having those last couple of weeks, Miguel always questioned, well, are they the right match? Is she the right woman for him? And she said, whenever he would go there, it would just hurt her because he already knows that's a sore spot for her. And so she just said that, she feels like he's very controlling. And he has his demons that he's dealing with. And he's like, he probably told like, we all got demons that we deal with. But anyway, she ends up going first. And she says yes. And then Miguel, he brings out a sheet of paper talking about he done wrote something. I said, oh, goodness. Don't let it be one of them damn another poem, Miguel. Not damn another. Oh, I don't know if it was a poem or not, but it was long as hell. I was just like, okay, when is this going to be done and over? But anyway, ultimately, he said yes. So they're staying together as I thought they would. Like, okay, so that's another one I got correct. Did y'all think they were going to stay together? I think everybody probably figured that out. Yeah. Mitch and Kristen. Last couple of, right? So Pastor Cal said, Mitch needs a husband 101, baby. And he needed that before y'all even decided to get him married. Did you hear me? He should not even been chosen. And he said, that they have so much potential. So Dr. P said, what gives her hope is they both take accountability for their actions. Do they really? Because I just have not really seen that from Mitch. Like, I see Kristen taking accountability for her actions and his. Like, she telling him sorry in cases she should not be. Like, oh, child, y'all. Come on, experts. Stop trying to sugarcoat it and make things seem all rainbows and frillies. Like, no. So, anyway, Kristen, she was gorgeous. I think she's a beautiful woman anyway, but she just looks so pretty. That color really complimented her. She had on a red dress. I said even Mitch came out looking handsome, even though he was wrinkly, but baby, he doesn't use irons and steamers because it's not environmental friendly or something. I don't know. But he was very wrinkly. Dr. P said Mitch not compromising and Kristen is compromising too much, and that's what has made their marriage pretty much unstable. So Kristen said, he's a good person at his core, and she did say that at times she felt like she was losing herself, and so she's still just trying to figure out if he was the one. So Mitch said at the beginning she wasn't his type, but now, he feels like she's a beautiful person inside out. He has love for her and even little old Luna. I said, oh, okay. It's a song about business. It's just, I think who was that said they could, I think Nate said Stasha can come across insincere, cold. I think Mitch comes across very insincere. Now, that's just me. Like, I said it, I think, a couple of episodes ago when he kept pumping her all up with them compliments after she kind of just went off on Dr. P and him for going to her sister about wanting her to look more natural and all that. And he just started from there, just pumping her full of compliments. I was just like, it ain't genuine. It's not. He's not really, he doesn't mean any of that. So, yeah, he just seems so... Yeah, like I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. So anyway, child, when they sat down, a bug flew into Kristen's mouth, and then she go swallow it. I said, ew. I would have been spitting that ish out, and I would have told them, y'all better cut this and do not put it out there on TV land, because ain't no way. Talking about some, well, a little protein never hurt. It's going down now. No. Anyway, and Mitch said, the way he acted on their honeymoon was his biggest regret, and that he's learned that he's been closed off to love, and he operated from a place of fear. And he said that he has learned that opening up has actually caused people to like him a little more and tolerate him better. Krista said there's a lot that she likes about him, and pretty much Mitch ends up going first. And oh, this is another one. He got so long-winded, y'all. I was just like, will you just get to it? I kind of figured he was gonna say no, the way he just kept going on and on and on and on. And I was just like, goodness. So he said no. He said his level of commitment is not what she deserves. And it isn't. And then Krista turned around. She pretty much kept it nice and short. She was just like, he pretty much, oh, excuse me, y'all, said the same thing she was gonna say. I'm sorry, ooh. And that she deserves more, so she's choosing herself, and so it's a no for her too. Y'all, I said, okay, I got them right. I did. But to be honest, I really think she came in there with a yes. Like, I feel like had she gone first, she would have said yes. Because, baby, I was watching her the whole time he was giving his whole long soliloquy before he finally said, and my answer is a no. Like, the way he was going on, it's like you could see it on her face. It looked like her heart just sank. And y'all know Kristen turned red in a hot second, right? And she just started getting real blotchy, her skin, like her chest and in her face. I just like, yeah, that's hitting her like a ton of bricks right now, because I think she was holding on to a little smidget of hope. And had she gone first, I bet you she would have said yes. But since he said no, she was just like, no. And then I think Pastor Cal gonna say, so y'all may not be right for each other right now in this moment, but what about in the future? And so Kristen was just like, she's open to keeping the door open, but that she will not wait for him. And Mitch was pretty much like, it's a no for me, big dog. Not now, not in the future. You know what I'm saying? And so Pastor Cal said he doesn't get it, because this is one of the most amiable divorces, because the whole time after they both said no, they're sitting there holding hands, and Kristen was holding on tight. And I think because there was all this shocking them emotions running through her hand, and I bet she didn't realize she was holding on as tight to him as she was gonna say yes. I bet you she really was going to say yes. And then she's just like, well, she's holding on to him because he's still a good person, and she just wants to support him in this moment, because it's not an easy moment to have. I'm just like, girl, stop. You know what I'm saying? You cannot baby him through this thing. You did that through your marriage. Stop holding his hand, literally and figuratively. Just let him go. Let him go, boo. So anyway, we see Justin and Lex after all the decisions have been made, right? And so Lex tells Justin, that she said yes, but that she does need time to process everything. And I'm just kind of like, whoop. And what does that mean, Lex? Like, what do you mean you need time to just process everything? Like, are you saying yes, but you just want y'all to date and see where it goes? Like, so Justin kind of in the same mind frame as me. He's like, well, what does that mean? And she says it means yes to more time. And so she says she likes that they can restart, but they still need to remember the past and all like their past arguments and the bad times, so that they won't repeat them. And so he says, he's just afraid of her quitting. And she gets all bust up, and I'm tired of you using that word when you're referring to me. The word quitting. I said, really, Les was picking a fight at this moment, I feel. Let the mind express itself. He ain't sitting up here doing all this boo-hooing and crying. Just let him, you expressing how you feel. Let him express how he's feeling about it. And he said that was one of his fears. So if that's what his fear is, let him, Oh, child. So he said that's what his definition of quitting looks like, basically. And so she said, well, have you broken up with someone before? He said, yes, I have. And so she said, well, did you quit when you broke up on them? Broke up with them? Was that quitting? And basically it was like, yes. Like, I mean, what is it, And so he said, you're trying to make me feel like it was a privilege that you chose me. I can agree. She kind of gives off those vibes like, you should be happy that I said yes to you, not the other way around. And so anyway, it was like, well, how is that fair? And it's not fair. I said, these two are already in it. And then here go Lex. Well, let's just go start our marriage. Let's start. I said, oh, she's so facetious. Like, oh. But anyway, then they end up being in the confessional. And so he asked her if she's having doubt, right? And she said she didn't think decision day would go like this. And she doesn't understand his question. Simple, Lex, are you having doubts? Like, come on. Don't play these games, Lex. Don't play these games. You know exactly what he was asking. And so he was just like, are you okay with saying yes? And she said, well, I said yes, so why are you asking me that? And he said, because the way things are now, like the things you're saying now. I said, oh my goodness, these two right here. Anyway, it's the next day, y'all. So all the couples are getting together to find out what everybody's decision was. I said, yeah, right. They pretty much all know what each other's decisions were. So they had a little cookout. Ben show up. He looking great. I said, okay, Ben. Morgan and her little stomping ass self shows up. Talking about, I just been working. I was surprised she ain't coming there with no darn scrubs on to keep making her doggone point that she is a nurse. But so both of them are there, and Ben mentions how, that they haven't really spoken since they agreed to a divorce, and that he's actually running to her at their gym. And she wasn't going to speak. And so he didn't speak. But he said he did like throw up the peace sign. And she did that. And they just kind of went on their way. I said, that's some foul ass shit. You can't even open your mouth to just say, hey. Like, I don't even think, had he not acknowledged her, I don't think she would have acknowledged him. I said, oh, baby. So anyway, the couples, they just start, wait a minute. Stasha did have something to say about Morgan. She said that if she had extended grace to Ben, she feels like they probably could have been in a better place. But anyway, so they go around the room saying if they stayed together or not. Stasha and Nate, yeah. Miguel and Lindy, yeah. And then Kristen said, that they were so hot and cold, and for her, when it came down to her decision, she just had to ask herself at the end of the day, has she given everything she could? And she said she did, and she was still getting the same results. So that was why she had to choose no. Good reason, good theory, because I feel like you did. You gave all you could. But I still think it was really a yes from you. Considering all that, I still think you were holding on to whatever strand of hope you had. But anyway, so Miss said, they just had different lifestyles. And it would have just been hard to continue to stay married together. So Kristen ends up bringing up how she would leave the door open in case, Mitch ever decides he wants to be a whole husband. I said, oh. So Lex asked, well, Mitch, are you gonna leave her hanging basically? Are you giving her hope that you're working on it? Like what? And so Mitch was just like, I said, I know what I, Mitch said. Mitch said basically he don't know, basically, right? And that he don't know where he says basically he just says I don't know, right? And that it was a no, and marriage is a no, but friendship is okay. And I was just like, if he came back and said some, because at first when he said that I don't know, before he finished saying everything else, I was like, Mitch, you would get done lie, because I know what I heard when y'all was sitting in front of them experts, and you said that it's a no. It's a no. Marriage is a no, but friendship is okay. I know I heard what I heard. And so Kristen was just like, wow. And cause then he says, but none of that came from me. So, like basically saying that he ain't said nothing about leaving the door open and walk through that joint. And like I said, before he said that, when he was just like, I don't know, I was just like, Mitch, you a lie, don't go there. But he ended up saying, Mitch will say whatever. He don't care. He'll say whatever. He don't care how he gonna hurt somebody in the process. So he got Kristen out here looking like a whole fool. And I just said that's Mitch for you. Itch bay. So Kristen said, that moment it provided her with clarity, and that the Mitch and Kristen show is now over. Baby, this show should have been over. It wouldn't been no keeping no door open for me. She said, he doesn't mean the things he says. I'm glad you realize that now. Then we see Justin and Lex kind of talk about if they're still together or not, y'all. So Justin, he talks about how decision day was a good day for him. And she said that Lex brings up, she said yes. And then 20 minutes later, they got into this huge argument. And she said, he asked, do I regret saying yeah? And she says, well, I'm still processing. But in their confessional, which I don't know if it was shot before or after this moment, he said, as far as how he was feeling, that they could just go up from there. Lex, on the other hand, was just like, wait a minute. Let me go back a minute, because before they got to the confessional, Miguel asked them, well, is this a new issue or an old issue? So Lex was just like, it's a recurring issue, and it's just, she feels like they're going backwards instead of forward, right? And so Linda gonna say, it's all about objective measures versus emotional measures. I don't know who she was directing that at, but I feel like she was directing it straight at Justin. But to be honest, Justin was holding his own. He was not all over the place and emotional. He wasn't crying. And anyway, so then we get to the confessional, and the producer asks, well, where do y'all go from here? And of course, like I said, he says he feels that they can work it out. They can only go up from there. And Lex was just like, I'm done. I'm done. Basically, that was it. I said, I hate to think this way, but I feel like Lex did that on purpose. Like it was one last opportunity for her to shade him on national TV, like she has been doing the entire freaking season. Like it was just, But Justin, I will say this. I'm proud of you. You didn't cry. You stood up in there, everything she was saying, and you stood firm about what you was saying. And, he was just like, well, I guess we're getting a divorce. You heard him. I think by the end of all of this, Justin was he was at his breaking point too. I think. I can say I definitely feel like he grew in his confidence. So I think he did learn a lot for being in this marriage. Like they say, I think marriage is a mirror. I think he did learn a lot about himself. And I feel like he grew in his confidence. Do y'all feel like that? I do. I feel like he grew in his confidence. He learned to handle his emotions better. And not to say that he's still not an emotional guy, but y'all know he's totally different from that Justin we saw at the first of the season. Like, he was not confident. He was just all over the place. He cried 3, 4, 5 times in one episode, y'all. And to have this and the things he was crying about versus like this. Now, had he cried in this moment, I could have understood that. But even then, he had his own baby. He was like, no. And I think had he brought that confidence earlier, had he came onto the scene with that, he would have probably been more appealing to Alexis. But she just didn't like him. She just did not like him. And the thing I do hate, like I said, is how she just took every moment to shade him. Like, it was just some things you didn't have to do for the camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to cover your husband. And I remember her saying that on their honeymoon, that was the one thing she was going to do. I'm going to cover him. And she did not do that. She did not. Anyway, enough on that. It's 2 days later, and we kind of see all the couples moving out. Nothing really to see about that. Kristen and Mitch, they kind of had their final words, and she brings up, how Mitch caught her off guard with the whole leaving the door open, and he says that things got twisted with the other couples, and that, that's not important to him. And then he gonna tell some, just leave me alone. Like, I was like, okay, we throwing a whole temper tantrum out here, 41-year-old man. Like, just leave me alone. Ooh. Krista said, with all that, it's just best to close the door all the freaking way. But she did say she has no regrets, right? And then we see Justin and Lex say their goodbyes. And, he said that Lex wanted a divorce was an embarrassment to him. And he didn't see it coming. Like I said, with those emotions, I was surprised that he didn't cry. But I'm glad he didn't. He held it for behind the off-camera scenes, But anyway, Lex said that she was just in the moment when she said that, but she does apologize for blindsiding him. She said she definitely has some work to do on herself. And, he does shed a tear at this point. But he ended up saying, she did exactly what the one thing he feared, and that was quitting. And that was pretty much it, y'all. The other couple saying goodbye to their places. It is what it is. Y'all know Stasha and Nate moved into Stasha's house. Linda and Miguel, we found out they're going to move into Miguel's place. And the other two couples didn't make it. But y'all, did y'all see these previews to the reunion? Like, oh my gosh. Like that first one where I saw Nate and Justin get into it. And Justin was like, take some of that bass at your fucking voice. I was just like, look at Justin. Who he trying to stand up to? Talking about take some bass out your voice. I said, Justin, are you wanting that bass in your voice? Like, what is it? But then we see him talking about Lex came to his place like in the middle of the night and for some good. And I was like, oh, but I thought it wasn't good, Lex. But you banging on this man door in the middle of the night? And then I know everything. I know they be chopping and screwing these scenes together, but baby, this very last one where they made it seem like Justin calls Nate out about trying to hit on him. I said, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I know they probably done edited that to make it seem like that's what is being talked about. But say it ain't so. I know Justin did not think Nate wanted him. I just don't see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. But anyways, I am so looking forward to this reunion. This reunion. But y'all, I want to hear y'all comments. Talk to me down in the chat. And as always, I pray for y'all. Y'all please pray for me. And we will what? Bye, y'all.